Hello and welcome to this digital painting tutorial. We're going to be doing a digital painting of an alien. This is an Asta, and this is from the Epoch of Raisos universe by Dan Repperger, and it's going to be done for Dan Repperger. And what we're going to do first is we already have the sketch, which Dan and I have worked out all the particulars of, and I'm going to start off here by laying down some major base colors. This is not going to be in any way detail oriented. I'm just going to lay down some very broad swatches of color. In fact, I'm going to enlarge my brush right now. I'm using an 80 pixel brush. I'm going to enlarge that to about 200 pixels. And this is just going to be to get down the major areas of color. So we're going to go with gray for the skin. The Asta are like a hybrid race between human beings and the gray aliens of UFO mythology. And let's see, for the tunic, let's go with this color for the tunic, kind of a dull yellowy green. And first of all, I'm going to take that layer that we created the skin on. I'm going to call that layer skin. And I'm going to go ahead and name the rest of these layers so that we'll be able to turn them on and off, and you'll be able to see by name which one I am turning on or off. So I'm going to create a new layer, and this will be called tunic, which is actually more of a tabard. Alright, so now we're on the tunic layer. We have our yellowy green color, and we're just going to lay down a big broad swatch of this yellowy green, and it's just going to go over where the tunic is. And I'm not worried about edges or anything yet. One thing you might notice here, I'm going to zoom in. You can see there's some white area showing through up here where the gray color didn't go down. That's because most of this black sketch is on an ink layer, and most of it is on a transparent background. There were a couple of areas I went back in to correct, like to put in the highlights in the eyes where I just painted in with white instead of erasing. So what I do for that is I go to the ink layer, and right now I'm going to change its transparency. Right now it's got a normal transparency, which means that any pixel that has any value at all is going to obscure the pixels beneath. And I'm going to change that to multiply. And now any dark pixel will have its value show through, and any light pixel will appear as transparent. Basically, multiply adds pixel values together. So if you add white to something when you're working on a monitor, you're basically adding no value at all, whereas the dark pixels will come straight through. So let's add the rest of these colors quickly now. So I'm going to do the robe layer next. And for the robe layer, I want a contrasting color and value. So I'm going to go with this dark purple here. And I'm going to lay down the robe colors. And you can see I'm painting over the other colors. That doesn't matter because this is on a separate layer. And nothing I do on this layer is going to destroy any pixels that I put on any other layer. So let's go ahead and just pull that down there and finish up giving our base purple. And then finally I'm going to do actually not finally, I've got two more layers to go. I'm going to create a boots layer. And I'm going to use a similar value to this yellow I used before, but just a little bit darker, this yellowy green. And I'm going to go ahead and lay down the boots. And then the last thing I'm going to do is I'm going to create a belt layer. And this is for that, created two layers. This is for that sort of utility belt that I've got going on down there. Alright, and that's going to be, we're going to start off with gray. I'm not sure what color it's going to be yet, but we're going to start off with gray. We can change colors fairly easily later on in the process. So that's the beginning of our tutorial, and then on the second part I'll discuss laying in of values.